Hold on tight. It's time again for the ride of your life at Capital Ford. And the ride of your life begins now with employee pricing for everyone on new Fords. You pay what Ford employees pay. Employee pricing means buy a new 2025 Ford F-150 for just $599 a month. Or buy a new 2025 Ford Escape plug-in hybrid, only $499 a month during our Ride of Your Life event at Capital Ford in Santa Fe.
Our Endless Summer event is your savings paradise with outstanding offers at Capital Ford in Santa Fe. Like a new Ford F-150 STX, it's a summer buy for $699 a month plus 4.9% APR financing for 72 months. Or get summer savings on a new 2025 Ford Bronco with 0% APR for 48 months. Your summer of savings is right here, right now, during our Endless Summer event, going on now at Capital Ford in Santa Fe.
Hey, welcome back to another live show this evening, Monday night. My name is Eric Moulton, co-owner, co-founder of the Pit Press. Welcome to another live episode. I'm happy to be joined by the Nunez duo. Don't know which one is the better looking of the two. Nick did just get a haircut, but I'll go ahead and kick it off with Mr. Ed Nunez, the voice of Western New Mexico athletics and a Lobo fan since 1970. Ed, how's it going?
Going good, Eric. But good to be back on here, and my son and I are excited to host our first series in our new football show. So thanks for making the graphics, thanks for producing, and thanks for everything you've done for the Pit Press, man. You've done a lot.
I couldn't get there alone. Happy to have you guys on at all times. The second Nunez duo, our group of the duo, Mr. Nick Nunez, lawyer, expertise, producer, sideline reporter, broadcaster, you name it, he does it. Mr. Nick Nunez, how you doing, man?
Appreciate the intro, Eric. Good evening to you and my dad. Really excited. Football season right around the corner. We're in early August. We get to talk to one of the best high school football players in the state of New Mexico. Can't wait to get into it.
Yeah, before I jump into you guys tonight's guests, I do want to just go down a quick rundown, just some updates of Lobo Athletics, some pretty important and significant news coming out today with Fernando Lovo and Jason Eck with a really cool and interesting video, kind of taking a mock at the office with announcing that season not season passes, but tickets to all games, home games are going to be free to kids 12 and under. I know we've talked about it multiple times on this show, just having to reconnect with the community, which is Lobo Nation. And I think that they've had a bunch of initiatives kind of going all at once. And I think they're slowly rolling it out, and they've actually started to pick up some momentum. So before we move on with the show, Nick, Ed, I do want to get your thoughts on the news that came out today, and really just kind of what you're looking forward to this upcoming football season. Nick, I'll start with you.
Yeah, my dad was there. He got to be there for the live announcement. I did see the video promotional come out, and I got to say, I think Coach Jason Eck could have a career in acting if he wanted it. He was very convincing in the promotional video that they put out. So was UNM Athletic Director Fernando Lobo. But just my thoughts on what UNM is promoting. I think allowing families to attend a University of New Mexico football game at a reasonable price is something that should drive ticket sales up. And that's ultimately the goal, is to pack University Stadium for the 6 home games that UNM will have this season. I think it's a great move by UNM Athletics.
Ed.
Fern Lobo is a young guy, comes with young ideas from the University of Texas. Remember, he worked with Urban Meyer over there. And I listened, and there's going to be more. Somebody asked him, is there going to be any more, things coming out? He said, I don't want to play all my cards. But, I was thinking about when I go to Cleveland to broadcast a game, and it's been a while, but they've got all these Storm kids in their jerseys. They want to be Storm players. And, that's a winning culture out there at Cleveland. But I think it's a good start. Fern said that on Saturday, he wants people to wake up thinking about the Lobos and Lobo home game, Lobo football. I think he said all the right things. I think he's here with a fresh pair of eyes on the situation. He's young. He's surrounded by young people. And I think they mentioned the other day they compete over there. Coach Olin said that. They compete to see who's gonna do something. You don't want to be left behind on that train. So I like it. I do. But I'm going to say this, and, we all, I'm sure will agree. You have to win games, man. You have to win. What did Herm Edwards say? You're here to win. Hello, got to win football games. But I like that. I do. I like the initiative, and stay tuned because there'll be more.
Yeah, we're inching closer to the season, and I'm excited as ever. Really optimistic too. But before we get to our guests, which I'll go ahead and hand over the show to Nick and Ed to introduce their new product, new podcast, kind of geared towards covering New Mexico high school football. Huddle Up. We'll be talking with Hershul Holloway Jr. of St. Pius, first team All-State running back. I'll let them introduce him. But before we do, there was some recent news this week, really sad news, with one of our kind of look at him as a colleague in the media industry here in Albuquerque. A lot of you might be familiar with him. The beat writer for the Albuquerque Journal, covers UNM basketball. Jeff Grammer announced that his wife has and was going through breast cancer. And I have close ties with the family member who passed away from breast cancer, so it actually touches home pretty close. But I want to do what is right, and I want to help spread the word. And here, we all agreed at the Pit Press that we wanted to get involved in some way or another. So we want to help spread the word. Jeff and his family are going through some tough times right now, so they're trying to raise money because it's a long road ahead. She's going to need a lot of support. Her name is Jennifer. So I wanted to share just how the community, it's Lobo family, it's Albuquerque, it's New Mexico. You can find their GoFundMe on the app. We also shared a link below on our YouTube channel. You can go and contribute and donate because they do have a long battle ahead. And Jeff's got a personality, and he's a fun guy on Twitter. We run into him at every Lobo event that is possible. Nick and Ed, you guys always see him at the press conferences. So we just want to get behind him and show support any way that we can. So if you guys can spread the word, they are raising money to kind of help his family out. So, but without further ado, Nick, Ed, I will hand it back to you guys to bring on our next guest. Mr. Holloway. Give me a sec, guys.
Good evening, and we welcome you to our first episode of Huddle Up. Huddle Up is a series of segments on the Pit Press level that features New Mexico high school football coaches and players. Huddle Up is available on all platforms of the Pit Press, YouTube, X. You can find us also at the Pit Press. All right, we've already introduced my co-host for the evening, the play-by-play announcer and producer for ProView Networks, Nick Nunez. Son, we've got a great guest today, and we talked about the kids 12 and under getting free at UNM. Without any further ado, our first guest on Huddle Up is a first-team All-State running back for St. Pius High School, also a Class 4A state champion in the 100-meter dash, also a basketball player for head coach Ryan Myers over there, junior Hershul Olloway of St. Pius High School. Hershul, thanks for joining us tonight. How you doing, man?
Yes, sir. I'm doing great. Thank you for the opportunity. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you know what? You had a great season last year. You were part of the 4A state championship runner-up in Class 4A for St. Pius, a game that I went to Bloomfield and broadcast, and Pius had definitely a good start to that game, and you guys fell to Bloomfield, as I mentioned. Coach Curtis Flakes in the second season led St. Pius to a 10-3 record, only one Class 4A loss, and that was in the state championship to Bloomfield. St. Pius was undefeated in District 2 4A. Looking back on all the things you guys accomplished as a team, how do you feel last season turned out? You and I talked about it a little bit, but how do you feel the season turned out?
I feel like it was a pretty successful season overall. I feel like we were able to accomplish a lot of the goals we had, such as district champions, making it to state, and unfortunately, we weren't able to complete our ultimate goal of winning state, but we were able to still get almost the opportunity, and we're able to still have a successful season to our standards.
You know, it's an enjoyable season. I'll go over some of your individual stats, but you guys put a lot of points on the board. You're exciting, a lot of chunk yards, and you and I talked about it. You got a lot of those same playmakers back. You have to be excited with the football season right around the corner. Let's look at some of your individual accolades. First team All-State running back at St. Pius, second team All-State defensive back, first team All-District running back and defensive back, offensive district MVP of the season, first team All-Metro. Your offensive stats from last season read like a Madden game. 17, you rushed for 1,704 yards, 21 rushing touchdowns. You went over 100 yards in 8 of your 13 games played. I think you averaged an ungodly 8.5 yards per carry, went over 250 yards 3 times, added 3 receiving touchdowns and 187 receiving yards. On defense, 70 total tackles, 8 passes defended, 5 picks. Those are impressive. You're also named the most valuable offensive player in the district. What were the keys to your success last season?
So one of the things Coach Flakes always harped on was getting 1% better each day. So that's one thing I always tried to do as far as the season went on. It was just trying to get better day by day, week by week, and just see the steady improvement each week and just continue to be the best player I could be.
Yeah, you certainly did that. Son, go ahead.
Yeah, Hershul, wanted to talk to you a little bit about kind of the offensive coaching staff that really puts you in positions to be successful. You know, I had the privilege of we definitely covered your semifinal game against Espanola Valley. And I think I had you one more time earlier in the season. But, you know, you come out of the backfield and it seemed like the offensive coaching staff at St. Pius just used you in a lot of creative ways. Talk about how they helped you be successful.
No, I'm very appreciative of them. They put me in a lot of great positions to excel. Coach French was a great OC last year. Coach Pope, overall, just a great offensive staff, and they put me in a lot of great positions to excel, and overall, it showcased my abilities.
And then that offensive line, Hershul, you know, every running back probably owes their offensive line a pat on the back or two. Just a couple of those guys from last year, and I appreciate I apologize if I'm missing any names, but Michael Deller, Lucas Saavedra, Ethan Matchinger, Ramon Torres, Chase Nelson. What can you say about those guys up front and how they helped you?
No, they were very helpful to me. It was mainly, I'll start off with some of my guys, Chase Nelson, Ramon Torres, Anthony Ruiz, Michael Delaware, and Leandro Garcia. Lucas as well subbed in a very good amount. But like those starting 5 and that core right there, put in a lot of work, a lot of dedication to this craft. And overall, that helped me get all the shine and the glory. But I was always shout out to them because without them, I couldn't have done it. So it's always appreciated towards them.
And then Hershul, man, you play in an offense with a ton of playmakers. Let's go over some of the stats from some of your guys. Junior Kale Cox Liggins, he'll be a junior this year, sophomore last year. Finished the season 69 catches, 1,112 receiving yards, 12 touchdowns. Senior Brian Thomas, 51 catches, 765 yards, 9 receiving touchdowns. The quarterback, Isaiah Carpenter, throws for over 3,000 yards, 34 passing touchdowns, a QB rating of 95.5. What is it like playing in an offense where every skill position player on the field is a threat?
It's great. It's fun. It's very fun to be able to go out there every day, every practice of games as well, knowing that my brothers have my back. So if we're facing a team where it's like they may stack the box, well, guess what? We got some of the best receivers in the state on the outside and the best quarterback throwing to them. Or if guys want to worry about the receivers and not load the box, I just know I got a great offensive line that's going to help block for me and give me my yards. So it's always a great thing to know that I got great teammates around me and a great coaching as well to put us in those situations to excel.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's not forget about Curtis Flakes. He also averaged 50 yards receiving per game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you and I talked about it earlier. You've got Ezra Campo in now, and Damian. Damian Ocampo, the former Socorro coach, who's won 2 championships. Tim Gutierrez comes to help you on the defensive line. Your dad's assistant head coach there, and getting Damian Ocampo, who sells insurance, and it was tough for him to keep coaching at Socorro. It's tough.
Mm-hmm.
But getting that guy, man, that you and I were talking about it in the chess pieces. That guy knows, how to run an offense. You had a good OC last year. But I wanted to read a quote from head coach Curtis Flakes about you on the field. Hershul is talented as they come. Combination of speed and power that, coupled with his football IQ and willingness to be coached, makes him elite. He's even more impressive off of the field. Very respectful and humble young man that has not let his recent success go to his head. He still comes and works hard every single day, all while maintaining a 3.8 GPA. He's very impressive, and that's some words from your head man there. And I know what you think about. That's a leader there. I like Coach Flakes a lot. We had him on our pit press last year, so that's got to make you feel good. It's a good man there,
Yes, sir.
And leaders matter. And having Coach Gutierrez, Coach Ocampo, your dad, the other assistants, I don't want to forget them. That matters, man. You can have all the talent in the world, but those coaches certainly matter. Hershul, you got hurt your freshman year. You played 4 games and sustained a season-ending injury versus Grant. So you had a big game your freshman year versus Highland. You played in 13 games and were healthy in the championship game. Everybody in football, there's going to be some aches and pains, man. There is, right? It's a tough game. How were you able to stay on the field and stay healthy throughout the season last year?
So the off season coming into this sophomore season is very important of taking care of my body and putting on weight, so able to help sustain carrying the ball however many times needed. And so during the season, my mom, I test a lot of the helpful to her, but she would always push me to stay right physically, mentally as well. So she'd always tell me or she would always make me take the ice baths or make sure I was stretching out every night or just doing the right things to keep myself in the right physical shape.
Your dad also, I'm sure, helped with that. He played it out pretty high, defensive back, cornerback. Was a heck of a player, really good player. So he knows a lot. He's on the staff, and he's gosh, man. I was up in the box a couple of times. My son and I did the Espanola Pius game, and I thought going into that game, my son and I were like, man, but Pius was more physical at the line of scrimmage and dominated. They did, and we were expecting Espanola to come in and go, jumbo packages, and Pius was having none of it, man. None of it. So I thought that game, you were very physical defensively against Tyrone Wilder, ended up at Sandia, the head coach there now. You only had 3 fumbles in 13 games. You only lost 2 of them. Coach Flakes gives you, man, he uses you a lot, man. The ball is in your hands. You're used to that. You had the ball, 200 carries and 15 receptions. And, any coach is going to say you got to, you hear it in the Remember the Titans, why are you fumbling my football, man? So what was the key for you to hold on to the ball after having 200 carries on the season? What's the key to ball security for Hershul Olloway?
So my key to security is always whenever I feel like people around me or feel like they'll call it the trenches or the O-line, D-line, I always try to go 2 hands on the ball just to add that extra bit of security. And I always like to remember to myself that if I fumble the ball, then that means we can't be on offense no more. So I always try to keep that ball and stay on offense and try to score some points.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, that's a big thing in your mind, right? Because they're trying to strip. What's the
Yep.
defense's goal? They go through strip drills, knock it out, punch it out, and you had a very high volume of carries and not very many fumbles. That's pretty impressive. Go ahead, son.
We're speaking with first-team All-State running back from St. Pius X High School, Hershul Olloway Jr. Hershul, in addition to being an All-State football player, you also achieved quite a few accolades in track and field. You won the state championship in the 100-meter dash for Class 4A at a 10.67 time in the qualifying round and a 10.91 in the final round. You also won the APS 100-meter dash. How did it feel to win the 100-meter dash at both state and APS Metro?
It felt great. It was a true testament to the hard work I had to put in the track. I had recently picked up track coming into high school, and so it's one thing that I've took up sort of pride and interest in, and have been pushing myself to be able to compete, and fortunately be able to win state this past year. So that's something I'm going to try to continue to improve on and hopefully try to win and get some more medals upcoming in these next coming years.
And we got a picture here, courtesy of the NMAA, put up by our producer, Eric Moulton. This is a picture of the 4x1 100-meter relay team from St. Pius. You got Hershul Olloway Jr. on the left, Curtis Flakes III on the far right, and then sandwiched in between Julian Lovato and Zach Katz. This 4x1 100-meter relay team set a school record with 41.66 and won the state championship. Talk to us about what this accomplishment meant for you, Hershul.
Man, this was a great accomplishment to be able to accomplish the things we accomplished, breaking the school record, and as well as even winning state. We knew that we had a special group, so it was very nice for us to be able to show that to the other teams as well and to the state as well, and be able to walk away with the championship and win state.
Hershul, this is probably a cliche question, but, track and field, especially sprinting in the 100-meter dash, 4x1, I mean, that translates to football. Football, part of what you do is the 40-yard dash. And I saw your time is about a 4.44. At least that's what's listed on your X page. But how does track and field make you a better football player?
It helps a lot. So even with my running style that I like to play with, I like to go from slow to fast. And so track has helped me be able to really excel in the fast part of it. So once I see something I like or something open up, I'm able to sprint through it and get to the second level and try to score from there.
I got to ask you this, Hershul. Is there anybody at St. Pius X that's faster than you?
I'm going to have to say no.
I like it. Carry it with confidence, man. Go ahead, man.
Hershul, I've got to tell you this, too, that before I forget, I talked to your dad today, and back in the day, I think I told you when I worked for the city, your dad was working at Dennis Chavez Community Center many years ago. That's how old I am. Your dad's not old. I am, but that I remember your dad very well, and was able to reconnect when you started playing at St. Pius. And I asked him to send me a statement, and this is what he said. From a coaching standpoint, we've added 2 experienced coordinators to our staff. Coach Ocampo is our new offensive coordinator. Coach Tim Gutierrez will be leading the defense. Both bring a wealth of experience, and the entire program, players and coaches alike, are energized by their arrival. Got a super talented team on both sides of the ball with a lot of playmakers ready to make some noise. On a personal note, truly honored to share the locker room and the field with my son as he plays his high school ball. I'm blessed to be his father. He's worked incredibly hard to come back from multiple injuries, all while keeping his faith and staying focused on his dream of playing college football. Now, this is funny, because my son and I argue about this a lot too. Every now and then, we talk about who was better at his age, him or me, and honestly, I have to admit, it's him. Laugh out loud. So, no one's prouder of you than your father. It's like I'm proud of my son. My son and I may go back and forth about this or that, but no one, I'm not going to be around this earth forever, but the legacy I leave will be my son, right? So the same thing, your mom and your dad are unbelievable people, man. And then you got a sister playing over there at Pius too, right? So no pressure, no, but the focus is grades and faith.
Yes, sir.
That's it, right? So I used to tell my son that you're not at Pius to be no basketball star. And, I'm going to say I'm proud of it. My son works for the Department of Justice. I'm very proud of that. He did better than me. And that's the chains, right? The chains. Sure. So, yeah, you got great parents. Your part in basketball, we're going to go to basketball. You're part of a district championship team in District 5 4A. finished 22-6, undefeated in district, man. My son and I covered a lot of those games,
Yeah.
you know, and my son and I kind of argue about that because I went 1 year to the old Pius, then I went to Highland, right? So I'm a Highland guy, but I coached some of those guys at Pius when my son played there.
Really?
So my son and I will argue when Pius and Highland play, but in
Yeah.
good nature. You know, you guys
Yes,
had good games with them, beat them 3-4. You guys finished the #1 overall seed and fell to Highland in the quarterfinals. And Nick, go ahead and read Coach Myers' quote. I think it's better coming from you. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I had the opportunity to reach out to Coach Myers earlier today. It's kind of a two-part quote. I'll read the first part, but this is what Coach Myers had to say. Hershul is one of those guys where stats don't do him justice for the impact he has on the floor. He's a tremendous defensive presence. He makes hustle plays, and so that's part of the quote. And Hershul, you know, I covered a bunch of St. Pius basketball games last year. Man, Coach Myers and the coaching staff used you in a lot of defensive scenarios where you had to guard the other team's best player, primary ball handler. And that's the dirty work, man. In basketball, that's known as the dirty work. That's not the glamour. You're not scoring all the points. And so the role for you in basketball is a lot different than your role on the football field. How did you embrace this role of not being the main guy for the basketball team, but doing the dirty work on the defensive end?
Yes, sir. So I always like to say that I hate to lose more than I like to win. So I've always, like, when it comes to basketball, whatever I have to do to help my team win, that's what I'm going to do. And so defense was my role. And so that's what I tried to excel in and do the best out of my abilities to help my team come out with the win. And overall, I feel like I did a pretty good job at that this past season.
Second part of the quote from Coach Ryan Myers, head boys basketball coach at St. Pius X. He says, during our first round game versus Goddard, we were in a little bit of a slump early on, and he made two big defensive stops and tipped in an offensive rebound that helped us gain some much needed momentum. And, you know, Hershul, man, you guys were rolling going into the state tournament for basketball. You know, ran into Highland on the pit floor. That's always tough. But do you have a favorite memory from your basketball season last year?
So my favorite memory would have to be when we won the district championship versus Highland. Because I believe that was the game where it went into overtime, I believe. It was the tournament district championship. So being in the locker room with the seniors and was some of my other teammates, it was just a great experience to walk away with that win. So that's probably one of my favorite moments from this past season.
Yeah, Dad, I don't know if you heard that, but St. Pius beat Highland in the district tournament championship in overtime. One more thing, Hershul, and then I'll turn it back to my dad. You know, there's one coach on the coaching staff for St. Pius boys basketball, Coach Garcia, Jacob Garcia. You know, he probably hasn't shared a lot of this with you, but man, I graduated from St. Pius in 2010 with Coach Garcia. Fastest guy I ever saw in person. He ran a 4.38 40-yard dash, and he's like, people don't believe me when I tell them that, but let me tell you, as someone who I witnessed his athletic ability, man, that's one of the fastest guys I've ever seen. He could also dunk at 5'6", 5'7", whatever he is. Just one of the most athletic people I've ever been around. So I just wanted to share that for Coach Garcia. Go ahead, Dad.
He wasn't lying about him. Hershul, I remember Jacob real well. As a matter of fact, we just texted the other night, and Jacob had some unbelievable athletic skills and a penchant for drawing charges that I've never seen. And, you know, I've been around the game 50-some years, and some of those blocks are, you know, that they called were charges. He might have led. He was really quick. A great anticipation of cutting you off, where you know, just anticipation and speed, and then taking it right here in the chest. He got run over quite a bit, man. But that kid was, you know, at that time, he's not a kid anymore. Was as tough as any player I ever saw. Honest to God. Hershul, we're going to turn to your college recruitment and your senior season goal. You picked up. I'm sorry. Yeah, your junior season goals. You picked up a couple of Division I offers. That's right. I keep thinking you're a senior or junior. You went to practice for UNM, and they've got a new coach there, and Jason Eck. Your offer was announced June 4th. You grew up here in New Mexico. What did it mean to you to pick up a scholarship offer from UNM?
It felt very great. It was a very good experience. I've always grown up a UNM fan, of course, always going to UNM games, the tailgates, just always grew up being a UNM fan. I was going for the Lobos. So it was overall a very great experience to receive an offer from my hometown college I've always grown up watching. So it was good, very cool.
You also picked up a scholarship offer from UTEP on June 2nd. So far, 2 Division I offers. Assuming you're able to stay, you know, healthy, and and put up similar numbers, you're going to pick up more. There's no doubt about it, And back in the day, you'd get letters and in the mail. Now they'll text, and it's way different now. What are you looking for in a college when evaluating where you want to play college? That's your dream, to play college football.
Sure.
What are you looking at?
So growing up, I've always played under Coach Flakes. It's always been one of my head coaches. And so one thing that he always harps on is having a strong culture. And so that's something I've always looked for, like in this next recruiting process, is having a firm culture that the players believe in, because I feel like that's something that's very important for the team. And overall, that proved Payton's for us last year, because we had a strong culture built in that helped us get to where we're at. So I feel like that's a very important thing to have.
You know what, you and I talked about, and we'll talk about, I want to wrap this up in a minute here, but you came up short in the championship. But there's lessons to learn, baby. There's lessons to learn. You come back, Kale comes back, Isaiah comes back, Curtis comes back, you add Ezra Ocampo, and then the coaches, they're not on the field, but in the locker room, man, the Huddle, the name of our show, I mean, you should average 40 points a game. Now, provided everything comes together.
Yes,
but
sir.
if I'm you, I would be so excited. I'm sure you are. Your dad's excited. So is Coach Flakes. Let's talk about your goals for this season for football. We mentioned you have a lot coming back. Yourself, Cale Cox-Liggins, Isaiah Carpenter, Curtis Flakes. You came up short last year, and that sticks out. It sticks in your craw, man. It does. You mentioned I hate losing more than I like winning. You said that. So does my son. My son, when he coached at Pius, was a darn good little basketball coach. 52-6, man. Yeah, and the guy hated to lose. And even though I was a former referee, that dude was harder on refs than he used to make me laugh so hard. I'd be like, son, leave it alone, man. But so that's the last memory of last year, of that loss. Again, you played great, came out strong in that game, right? Came out strong, man. I remember thinking to myself, wow, look at him. They punched him, man, right? Punched him in the face. And then Bloomfield, give him credit. Blake Spencer, Mike Kovacs blitzed Isaiah Carpenter, made sure he didn't set and throw. You guys, they took away your running game. Well, what can people expect from St. Pius, the football team this season? Sky's the limit, man. What can they expect?
I'd expect big things from this next season. As you mentioned, we have a bunch of core guys coming back, as well as some new guys even coming with Ezra. And I feel like overall we should accomplish some great things this year, as long as we just continue to stay the course, 1% better each day, and just continue to grow and get just mature as well. Just continue to get to it and try to accomplish our goals.
That 1% could be the percent that puts you. I would think, Bloomfield lost. They lost Blake Spencer, man. And Mike Kovacs runs a great. He won 2 of the last 4 championships. He's won 2 of the last 3. So they're the champs until someone unseats them. But what you've got coming back, and what came in, Ezra Campo can play safety. He can play running back. Coach Ocampo, how much knowledge does that guy have, man?
One of the best coaches, yes. Great coach.
Now on paper, everything looks good. Paper cuts, man. We know that. Paper cuts. You have to take care of business in your locker room, and you said get 1% better. And the goal is to win it all. And I think Pius has a very good chance, and it's just around the corner. You've got to be excited. Son, do you got anything left for Hershul Olloway?
Yeah, just last question, Hershul. Once again, thanks for joining us, man. We wish you the best of luck next season and all your sports activities. But your football schedule, I was looking at it. I'm comparing it. It's pretty much a carbon copy of your schedule last year.
Yes, sir.
You guys went 10-3. Your 2 losses before the state championship were to West Mesa, who you open up with on August 24th, 11 a.m., I believe, Community Stadium. And then you guys lost to Oregon Mountain. You guys had to travel down to Las Cruces. They'll have to come up to Albuquerque this year. And then that District 2 4A, a lot of 4A teams in there, man. And I think some teams that'll be a little bit better this season. So any games that you're kind of circling on your schedule, or are you going to just take it one game at a time?
So as much as I like to say I take it one game at a time, there's a few games I do have circled a little bit. So West Mesa, of course, they got us last year. So that's kind of one of those games where I would like to get them back. Hopefully, Coach Brody down there, so I've grew up knowing him as well. So I'd like to get a win on them. And then Oregon Mountain as well. They beat us last year. They were able to out physical us and just overall just control the game. So I feel like if we are able to beat them, that'd be a great testimony to the strength and improvement that we've had as a program and a team. So those are 2 of the games. Then Bloomfield, if we can somehow match up with Bloomfield again in state, I'd like to get that game again because they're a great program, great coach. I expect great things from them this upcoming season. So I expect to see them later down the line in the stadium. So it'd be a great game for the both of us.
Awesome, man. Well, we can't wait. We're going to request that ProView Networks cover as many St. Pius High School football games as we can. We can't wait to see you this upcoming season. Dad, go ahead.
One more question, Hershul. When it comes to running backs, is there, a style you have to run to daylight, cutback, vision? Everyone's got their own style. And is there a running back you emulate from college or the National Football League?
So there's two running backs that I've been watching this past offseason that I've tried to take notes from. It's Jameer Gibbs from the Lions and Devon Achane from the Dolphins. Devon Achane's a kind of I wouldn't say a smaller guy, but he's not the biggest guy, similar to myself. Another thing he's able to do is catch the ball well. So that's one thing I'd like to, if the opportunity arises, be able to do that a bit this next upcoming season. Maybe get some catch down in space and just overall try to develop my game to the best it could possibly be for this upcoming season.
It sounds like you do that and you work on that. And you imagine Coach Ocampo, man, what he's drawn. You imagine the fun that dude is having, man.
Yes,
Thinking about getting in space, right? You mentioned that, getting you in space, Curtis in space, Kale Cox-Liggins, 69 catches last year, man. So what is Kale thinking? I got to get 75 this year. I mean, everyone 1% better.
Yes, sir.
So the bar's being set every day, and then you got guys like Coach Gutierrez, your dad, Coach Ocampo, and then the other coaches. I don't want to forget them because they're part of it too, man.
Yes,
all
sir.
of them. So iron sharpens iron. It's a corny saying, but it does.
It does.
So Hershul, we wish you all the luck. We sure appreciate you joining us. What a humble, respectable young man you are. We couldn't thank you anymore.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys for having me.
You bet.
Sir, thank you guys.
Okay, you bet. There's a comment there from John Romero, looking very much on watching Hershul and St. Pius this year. Wish you the best. Mexico State would like your towns to migrate south. You'll excel at whatever you decide to play. And John Romero, you know what? That's a friend of mine, man. And the guy's always, he supports us a lot. He does. I give him a hard time about being an Aggie fan, but that guy, he's on everything we do. So thank you for your support, John. But I'd like to see him be a Lobo. Son, any comment on that comment?
Yeah, I mean, I think any college in the state of New Mexico, really in this region, would be lucky to have Hershul Olloway Jr. I think I had him maybe for 2 or 3 games last season. I can't remember off the top of my head. I know for sure we called that Espanola Valley game. But there's another comment right there from Bray, 2K yard season coming soon. I don't think it's out of the question. I mean, 200 carries, 1,704 yards as a sophomore, with a lot of the dynamic pieces coming back. And I don't think we mentioned this, Dad, but I think Coach Flakes shared with you, they're going to have 3 starting offensive linemen back from last year. And the thing about Hershul, man, I remember we had him that first game of the season against West Mesa. Once he hits that hole, that burst, it's that 100-yard dash speed, that 40-yard dash speed where he just hits that hole and he goes, man. I think I can't remember. He had like a 75-plus yard touchdown run versus West Mesa last year. So you got to think he's a year more mature, a year more physical, a year stronger than he was last year. I think there was a video on his X page, or maybe it was on the St. Pius Sartans X page, but they showed him squatting. I don't know how much it was. I don't want to say the amount because I don't want to sell him short, but there were a couple plates on both sides of that squat rack. And man, he's only a junior. So I think the sky's the limit for Hershul Olloway Jr. for sure.
Well, we talked about Isaiah Carpenter, who had a great – I'll tell you one thing. Coach Kovacs, when I did the game in Bloomfield, Pius was comfortable. They took away Olloway. Once they took away Olloway, then they blitzed Carpenter, and they made it uncomfortable for him to square up in the pocket and deliver. But I got to say that, Carpenter threw for 35 touchdowns. He had 15 picks. I saw a game where he threw it. I think that's something he can work on. There's no doubt about it. You get better, and let's say he throws 7. How many more yards is that? This is an offense, and again, with Damian Ocampo, he's probably working as we speak, man. He knows how to get players out in space. He knows how to score. He's won 2 championships at Socorro. That is a huge boon, getting him as an assistant coach, man. And they've got a great staff to begin with, and then bringing his son Ezra in. So I would say that they're the early favorites, but everything's got to come together. You know how it is, son, to win a championship. a lot of things have to come together, man. You were part of a championship staff at St. Pius as an assistant coach in 2013. You saw Coach Segura win 3 championships. People don't understand how hard it is to win one. Very hard. Everything's got to come together. Everything's got to bounce. Now, look, on paper, this team should get 40 a game easily. There might be some games they get. Think about it. West Mesa, La Cueva got 72 last year? 72, or didn't Cleveland beat them like 80 to, I can't remember what the score was, but I was coming back a couple years ago from Bluefield. So these offenses, Coach Ocampo has to be thinking that we can set some records here, but you've got to win the games. And they've got playmakers on defense too. Olloway goes both ways. Curtis Flakes plays on defense. Cale Cox-Liggins plays cornerback. So they've got, I think, a team that is going to be reckoned with for sure. But I think, son, for our first version of Huddle Up, we couldn't have picked a better guest.
Yeah, no doubt. I think Hershul Olloway Jr. embodies everything that should be a student athlete. 3.8 GPA. Let's not sleep on that. At an institution like St. Pius X, the kid's getting it done on the field, on the court, in the classroom, carries himself very well. A huge thank you to his father and Coach Flakes for allowing us to speak with him tonight.
Nothing but class, both of them. Nick, you got anything else?
No, it was a great first episode of Huddle Up. I think we're gonna have 2 shows this week. Ryan Tamari, the Pit Press Live, he shared that Mike Prater will be joining us, I think either tomorrow or Thursday. I'm not entirely sure, but we should have a show, if not tomorrow, for sure on Thursday of next week.
I think, this week. I think Ryan said Mike Prater for tomorrow, but yeah. So John Romero, a couple other people were asking when we're coming back. And we should be back this year. And the practices have been open out there for football, and their opener against Michigan on August 30th. So they're out of the gate. And Ryan Tamari posted Michigan's ranked number 14 in the nation. It's going to be a tall task for New Mexico to go up there. And but was out there at the bubble today a little bit. And Coach Eck, they're working hard. So we'll see what happens. But son, thanks for joining us tonight. You did a great job with the research. I always appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. No, it's a pleasure. Thank you to Ryan Tamari, Eric Moulton of the Pit Press for allowing us to have this platform. It was a great first episode of Huddle Up.
For producer Eric Moulton and my co-host, my son Nick Nunez, I'm Ed Nunez. We'll see you next time on Huddle Up.